Yesterday was all about one man.
Got to be the best driver going around in the world.
He's the best driver in the world without a doubt.
After nearly 2 years out of the sport, Colin McRae has chosen his home event, Rally Great Britain, to make a one-off return with Skoda. It's been a cautious start so far, though. 13th coming in today too.
What was it really like?
Bloody hard work. It wasn't flowing as it used to.
Marcus Grönholm made the best start, leading after the first stage, but there was some confusion. His great start was ruined on the very next stage. Brake failure saw Peugeot's number 1 drop down to 19th, and the former world champion was not impressed.
It's not me, but the car. We lost the brake before the second stage. The pedal was completely on the floor. I had only handbrake.
In a terrific fight back though, Marcus has clawed his way up to 4th by the end of the day. Both Grönholm and Petter Solberg need a good result to prevent Sebastian Loeb taking the Drivers' Championship this weekend, but it didn't start well for the Subaru driver. This would be his only mistake. He starts the day in 2nd place.
Okay. Opens to 6, keep in of a crest.
Once again, though, he and Grönholm are both chasing the imperious Frenchman. Loeb, too, was caught out by that slippery hairpin on day 1. But it would make no difference to his position, once again leading the way. Disappointing day for Tony Gardemeister in the Ford team. He finished leg 1 in 9th, but was later excluded for being underweight at the end of the day. The dry conditions on this year's British event are causing their own problems. The faster speeds are putting extra stress on tyres and brakes, as Armin Schwartz and Chris Atkinson both found out yesterday. So the close of play last night, Loeb's lead just under 10 seconds despite a 10-second time penalty for leaving service late earlier in the day. Solberg, his closest rival, Harry Rovanperä, is looking strong in 3rd. Just under 104 kilometres of competitive action to come in South Wales today. The finale, a spectator super special in Cardiff's famous Millennium Stadium, the first ever indoor super special stage. Clear skies again for the start of leg 2, but the dry weather this year is not good news for Pirelli's runners. The Italian rubber works better in damp, slippery conditions, so Petter Solberg may be at a disadvantage this morning.
Extra long of a crest, 100.
Setup changes before the event have left the Norwegian happier here than at any other gravel event this year, and his improved confidence is clear to see. Subaru's number 1 has not been a match for Sebastian. The reigning world champion has led but never won in Britain. On current form, however, few would bet against that happening this weekend. Solberg, though, is continuing to give it his all. It's been a good start from the Norwegian, the 2nd fastest time through so far.
I'm trying, definitely.
Loeb, though, is edging ever closer to retaining his driver's crown. He knows another 10 points here would be a big step towards that goal, no matter what Solberg and Grönholm manage. nearing the end of this 19.5 kilometre stage. Let's see how he's comparing to his closest rival. Impressive stuff again from the Frenchman. 6.2 seconds up on Solberg. A great start today too.
I was pushing hard all the stage. Solberg is only 10 seconds behind, so I have to push. The rally is long.
Loeb's teammate Francois Duval has done a great job in helping Citroën regain the lead in the Manufacturers' Championship over the last few events. But oh dear, he stalls, and that's a sluggish getaway from the Belgian. He was just under 9 seconds ahead of Chris Atkinson in 5th at the start of the day, so he'll need to pick his game up a little for the rest of this stage to hang on to that advantage. Oh dear, and another mistake, a half spin. Just hasn't got the rhythm. Trying perhaps a little bit too hard this morning. He needs to get his concentration back, and fast. These stages are pretty punishing of mistakes. He's lost a lot of time, and that should be good news for Chris Atkinson. Can the Australian take advantage of Duval's errors? No, not now. Car's off the road. Looks as though he's dropped into a ditch. And this could be another retirement for Atkinson.
Clutch. Supervision from Glenn. We've spun on the off on the inside of the corner at 6k mark. Yeah. Okay, Glenn. Just remember what we said about the clutch over. I don't think we're going to get back up now.
Very frustrating for Chris after such a promising start. Peter Solberg's older brother Henning started the day in 7th, but he'll make up a place following Atkinson's crash. Oh my goodness, that's a high-speed clump of a log pile. Well, this stage is really catching him out this morning. It was a lucky escape. He can't have got away without damage, surely. Turns round and gets going again. But there is the damage. He's dropped to 13th and damaged the exhaust.
We had a big spin and a very high speed, so that's the part of the game, sorry.
You're lucky though.
Yeah, I'm lucky to be here, for sure.
Colin McRae's hit one top 6 time yesterday, and it's that sort of performance that he'll be hoping to repeat today. After yesterday morning's slippery conditions, he was hoping for the drier stuff today, but he'll have to use his manual gear shift on this stage. That's not going to help him find a good rhythm on these fast-flowing tests, and he only manages 14th fastest despite the crowd egging him on. Close behind the Scot is his young protege Chris Meek. He's competing in a McRae-built WRC car for the first time and beats Colin by 3/10. So as Loeb extends his advantage over Solberg to 16.1, Marco Martin now just 3 seconds behind Duval following the Belgian's mistakes. Roman Cresta, the leading Ford driver, just out the points in 9th. McRae back in the top 10, but just 7/10 ahead of the Irishman Chris Meek. Just 13.3 kilometres ahead for stage 8 on Epins, so not much distance for those drivers hoping to move up the leaderboard, but on the military stages, great viewing for the fans. One man hoping to move up, Marco Martin, the Peugeot driver, had hoped for great things this weekend. Yesterday there was a big disappointment, ending up down in 9th. The Estonian prefers harder surface of today. That's put more grip down. The third fastest time on this stage is also putting the pressure on Francois Duval. The Belgian had a wild start to the day, and he needs to calm down if he's to hold on to 5th, not fall victim to these quick stages. He's also under extra pressure to keep Martin behind to secure extra points for Citroën in their battle with Peugeot in the manufacturer standings. He's looking tidy here on stage 8, and he's approaching the finish line. Has he done enough to hold off the charging Estonian? Well now, this is going to get interesting. He's a second slower. The gap is down to only 2. Meanwhile, Marcus Grönholm has begun day two with his sights set firmly on the third place of compatriot Harry Rovanperä. It's been an incredible response since the frustration of losing so much time yesterday morning when he had 2 stages without much braking. To get back to a podium place would be the very least the Finn will feel he can achieve. Grönholm is once more on maximum attack limit. So Rovanperä's position under real threat. It's been a superb performance so far, and he would love to provide the resurgent Mitsubishi team with their second podium of the season. So a puncture then on stage 8, the very last thing that Harry needs. He loses another 7 seconds to his compatriot. But faster than everyone else, yet again, of course, it's Sébastien Loeb. It's his second fastest time in a row, and the Frenchman is looking ominously quick this morning. Solberg slipped to nearly 20 seconds adrift of the championship leader. Grönholm ever closer behind Rovanperä. The gap between them, 2.42 seconds. Loeb's on top again. More after the break. Welcome back to Wales, and let's get straight to Marcus Grönholm's relentless pursuit of Harry Rovanperä.
ITV will be on the Sunday afternoon.
The Finn has won here once before, but not for 4 years. Victory may be unlikely this weekend, but a podium finish would be a good consolation after yesterday's problems.
Today it's not the best for our tire, it's too dry, and I can feel also that I have not been on the stages for many years, like here halfway. 3 years ago I rolled here, and since then I have never came through this stage. It was a little bit poopa.
Despite his lack of confidence, it was an impressive time from the former world champion, and Rovanperä's third place is looking increasingly vulnerable. His best result of the season is 4th place in Sweden. Unless he can respond to the challenge of Grönholm, he'll have to settle for the same again. He's another 6 seconds slower than Marcus on stage 9. Peugeot's number 2, Martin, is also on the move. After a poor first leg, the Estonian has raised his game this morning. He's locked in a battle for 5th with François Duval, which is also, of course, Peugeot versus Citroën in that crucial manufacturers' championship. It's a fine balance between driving flat out and staying on the road, and Duval has made mistakes before this season. On this quick stage, the Belgian is right on the limit. Not far from the end of the stage now, and remember he began with just 2 seconds in hand over Marco Martin. This is looking like a great time, 6 seconds quicker than his rival. 5th place secure for now. Following the exclusion of Ford's Tony
jedna rychlé, vážně levá, 1 přes horizont, 150 levá, open 180, levá 18.
Well, after that high-speed approach, he escapes without much damage on that wrong slot. But the Czech driver has got the responsibility of continuing Ford's record-breaking run of finishing in 56 consecutive rallies in the points. One of the most intriguing battles on the leaderboard is mentor versus protege. Colin McRae and Chris Meek battling it out for 10th. McRae, the 95 champion, is still suffering from gear shift problems. Meek beats McRae by a second on this stage, takes over that 10th spot. Back at the sharp end, meanwhile, Loeb's looking more secure than ever in the lead. Grönholm's edged closer to the podium spot in 3rd, but it's the battle for 10th that's providing the most entertainment at the moment. And back at the service park in Swansea, McRae and Meek are relishing this duel on their home event.
Colin's still battling away this morning. How's it been? Yeah, not too bad. We had a problem with the auto shift, so I had to shift manually on the last 3 stages, which didn't help much, but it's probably lost a little bit of time, but not too much.
What do you think about Chris Meek? He's going very well.
Yeah, he's going well. We're having a good battle together, which is quite ironic, isn't it? But it's good. He's doing a really good, steady rally. He's driving very sensibly, and hopefully by sort of tomorrow he'll be able to up the pace a bit.
Behind you, though?
Behind me, there'll be team orders issued.
It's quite surprising to be competing with Colin, and it's very close and enjoyable, but I think Colin had a slight problem this morning with the gear shift, and which slowed him a fraction, but we've just nipped in front, and I think there's less than a second in it now. So
he's just said team orders are going to be issued if you keep going very well.
Yeah, that's McRae Motorsport team orders, but okay, no, I'm like I say, I'm here to learn and gain experience, and my main goal is to get to the end of the rally, because when you have your first opportunity in one of these cars, you have to get as many kilometers as possible.
Harry, you're just about hanging on to that 3rd place, the podium position you really, really want.
Yes, of course I want that, and but it's very important to bring the car back, and if it's 3rd or 4th places, I think so we are everybody happy if I can keep that.
Repeated stages make up this afternoon's tests. The first is Cricken at just under 20 kilometres. Come on, Colin, indeed, having just been passed by Chris Meek for 10th, but he's still Skoda's leading driver. Meek is currently a front-runner in the Junior World Rally Championship, but his long-term goal is to drive at the top level, and it's been an impressive performance so far. It's McRae by 2.5 seconds. Gigi Galli's had a difficult time on this, his first attempt at Wales Rally Great Britain. And it's hardly surprising. Don't forget, much of this is forestry, but just look at the speeds. Normally held in November, after a dry summer, the speeds are really high. He's running in 7th, which is very important for Mitsubishi, who started the rally just 15 points behind Subaru in the manufacturer's standings. Meanwhile, Grönholm's continuing chase of Harry Rovanperä is crucial to the battle at the top of the team's championship. And with Loeb leading again, Peugeot need Marcus to finish as high up the leaderboard as possible.
7. Vasen täys. 100. Oikein jouhea. 7. Vasen pitkä nopea kirraa. 8.
Well, Marcus always responds to a challenge. He's quickest through stage 10 so far. Harry Rovanperä has been beaten by his countrymen on every stage so far today.
Oikein K+ sisältä jatkaa roikku, oikein nopea sisältä.
He seems to be struggling a bit to find his rhythm this morning. He can't match Grönholm again. Another 6.2 seconds slower as he ditch hooks his way through the scenery. Out front though, Sebastian Loeb is taking full advantage of Michelin's all-conquering gravel tyre that's been so effective this season in these sort of conditions. He wins his 4th stage of the day. Solberg again has no answer to Loeb's searing pace. He's now nearly half a minute behind. But look at Grönholm, just 11.5 now behind Rovanperä. Well, it's a beautiful backdrop here in South Wales. Next up, stage 11. Mitsubishi looking for a good result this weekend to take them on to their home event later this month in Japan. Rovanperä has produced another strong performance here, but it's looking less and less likely now that he will be able to hold off the flying Marcus Grönholm. Time and Grönholm's speed in the Peugeot seem to be against him. The Lancer is looking even more impressive here. It's certainly handling well on these quick gravel stages. The team have made a huge improvement on what was a pretty dismal 2004. Nonetheless, Rovanperä in a Lancer is not proving a match for Grönholm in a Peugeot. The surface is much drier today, and without the mud and slippery gravel, this rally has the potential to be as fast as the two drivers' home event in Finland. Peugeot's number 1 is excelling in these conditions.
Oikein nopea, älä.
8, vaserit miinussuppu, älä.
Gronholm looks like he's out for a Sunday drive despite his pace. He's third fastest on the stage and closest to within 7 seconds of Rovanperä. Meanwhile, further back on the leaderboard in a year-old Citroën Zara, Privateer Manfred Stoll is having another good rally, making up the point-scoring places in 8th. Former British champion Mark Higgins is making only his 3rd appearance this season in a privately entered Ford Focus, and he's currently in 12th place. Subaru's tarmac expert Stefan Sarazan, the ex-Formula 1 racer, he's continuing to get to grips with rallying on gravel. When you race single-seaters at the top level, gravel traps are something you tend to avoid. The Frenchman clearly hasn't had enough experience in the loose stuff. Still a learning curve.
We are off the road.
At the top of the leaderboard, though, the positions remain unchanged. Gronholm still has 2 more stages today to make up what is now 6.7 seconds on Rovanperä for 3rd. The conclusion of day 2 comes up after the break. Stage 12 is next up in Wales Rally GB as day 2 nears its conclusion. And Chris Meek must be enjoying this fight with his mentor Colin McRae in his privately entered McRae Motorsport built Subaru Impreza.
Eddie, 2 left minus, in opens for 50, keep in. Eddie.
Oh, mistake there by the youngster. Slid wide on the final corner of the last stage, and he's lost a bit more time there. And that could be costly with McRae so close behind. The former world champion, 10th fastest on this stage, takes advantage of Meek's error to claim that 10th position on the leaderboard. Meanwhile, the closest battle in the point-scoring places is that for 3rd between Marcus Gronholm and Harry Rovanperä. There appears to be problems for the Mitsubishi driver. This is frustrating. He's lost 3rd gear, which is really critical on the medium speed parts of the stage. And this could be where he finally loses that hard-fought 3rd position.
Vähän oikein täysroiku, pitkä oikein eri plus pidä sisällä. Pitäis toi kääntää johonkin asentoon toi?
The half a minute the Rovanperä loses here is good news for Francois Duval, who also sneaks in front of the Mitsubishi driver. Even without the problems, Gronholm has been closing on Rovanperä all day, and the latter's troublesome gearbox may just have accelerated what seemed to be the inevitable anyway. Peugeot's number 1 has an easy job passing his compatriot, and with the 2nd fastest time on the stage, he's now comfortably in 3rd place. From down in 19th yesterday morning, the former world champion now occupies the final podium place, a remarkable performance.
You must be very pleased with day 2 of the rally. You've been very, very quick all day.
Yeah, but we can not really match Lööb today because it's too dry for our tires. So I would have normal RAC weather could have been much better for us.
Peter Solberg would probably concur with that. He's getting used to playing understudy to Sebastian Loeb this season, but it's never much fun. His Pirelli tyres have suffered on the dry, more abrasive surface today as well, and holding on to his 2nd place now seems to be the best that he can hope for this weekend. A shame on a rally that's treated him so well in recent years.
Long stages tomorrow, Margam Park, Resolven. Can you really attack and maybe catch Sebastian?
No. I'm really sorry, but I've tried today and it's impossible.
In a season of outstanding performances, it's been another perfect day for Sebastian Loeb. The Frenchman's taken a clean sweep of stage wins. Now looks to be very firmly on course for his 9th win of the season. With any other driver you'd say, but in rallying anything might happen. Luck, however, seems to ride as the 3rd passenger in this car.
we don't have to push very hard. I think tomorrow it's just to keep a very good rhythm, and that's not very easy. It's to find a good rhythm without making any mistake is not so easy. So we'll see tomorrow.
We'll see indeed, but Loeb's got a lead of nearly 50 seconds going into the final day. Rovanperä will be hoping he can at least take fourth back from Duval, with Mark Higgins becoming the surprise winner of the Cardiff Super Special. He passes Colin McRae for 10th. Chris Meek down in 12th. Loeb on course to maintain his record-breaking season then after another blisteringly fast day in Wales, but there are 4 more stages to come tomorrow. Join us again for the final day of Wales Rally Great Britain and keep up to date with the latest news and results meanwhile at WRC.com. We'll see you tomorrow night.